So I welcome each one of you on this chapter number 5 of accident and sickness. By the way, so far the learning about this module is so good that I was able to learn so many things. While teaching you, I was actually going through the books, I was learning new concepts. It was a really refreshing and a powerful knowledge that I'm getting. In terms of exam importance, chapter 5 is important, right? So chapter 5 mostly talks about business insurances. Like why would somebody be needing insurances to protect business? We will be discussing what kind of threats business people have, what kind of threats they have, and what kind of insurances are there that are there to protect their businesses, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about the structure of business a little bit. What kind of business structures are available, like sole proprietorship, like partnerships, like corporations, and all those. So we'll talk about a little bit structure. We'll talk about some key type of insurances tailor made for businesses. And last, which is most important, is the taxation of some of these plans in the business. Because whenever you start talking about business, you need to understand one thing: businesses are provided or given to people as an opportunity so that they can defer some of the taxes, not avoid taxes, but they can businesses are a way that you can delay some of the taxes, and you can use the money right now, you can grow it in different tools. And but at the end of the day, yes, you have to pay taxes even if you're doing business, but glad business gets some subsidies as well, so your tax amount is reduced than what anybody as in personal income tax would pay. So two benefits you always get in terms of taxation if you are a business owner or you have your corporation. Number one thing, you get to pay less amount of taxes, right? Because government gives you subsidies. And secondly, but you do have to pay taxes, but to businesses, there's also freedom that you can delay your taxes for certain number of years. I call that deferring your taxes, delaying your taxes. But at the end of the day, when you're about to pass this business to somebody or sell this business to somebody or close this business as you age, you have to pay your taxes, right? But then again, the taxes are reduced as per employees. So this is a privilege given to Canadians or everybody that become a business owner, enjoy the benefit, right? So I hope that this is clear. So at the end, we will close this call with understanding the tax treatment, that if you do certain plans from the corporation account, how do you treat them? How, are the benefits tax free? Can you show them as an expense? Can you show them as tax deductible or not? If the benefits you're receiving in the corporation, are they tax free or they not? So that is the last part of this chapter. Nonetheless important, because I tell you, if you serve 10 families and the money you make from those 10 families, and if you serve two businesses and the money you make from those two businesses are almost equal, that's how big of a potential businesses have. But imagine, ask yourself, if you are an advisor who does not know what businesses need, do you think you're able to close any businesses? So very, very practical. It's a money making chapter. By the way, I tell you, if you can, I know some people involved financial group last year, they've done nothing, but in a whole year, he was an accountant, and in a whole year, he served two corporations with a $50,000 annual plan and made almost $75,000 from two plans. So that's how big of a potential corporations or businesses have, right? And we're going to cover businesses in two ways. First, in this chapter, as far as accident and sickness protection to businesses, and next module is all about life insurances. So there is also a chapter will be coming over why businesses need life insurance. But this chapter will be focusing on why business need disability, majorly disability insurance. That's all about disability, most likely. Okay, because chances are how businesses stop making income is, I'm talking about small businesses. Let's say Marine is running a small business which with the two employees or maybe with maximum five employees. Now I assume that Marine is a very important person for her corporation, isn't it? Because she only has a 5 people company. So Marine is very important. Now if Marine gets disabled for certain amount of time, that means her corporation will have some financial obligation because she still needs to pay salaries, she still needs to pay some fixed cost, for the businesses, but at the end of the day, she was the most important person and she's missing because of disability. See how this becomes now important for small businesses, especially the bigger the businesses, where the owner, if he is available, present or not, it doesn't make a difference, then you might avoid certain things. The smaller the business, the more you need some of these protections. Sounds good? All right. So let's now talk about, first of all, type of businesses. So type of businesses, there are three different types. बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं पास ऑन करूंगा क्योंकि बहुत टेक्निकल चैप्टर है, राइट? कंफ्यूजन भी क्रिएट करेगा, तो आई वांट टू कीप थिंग्स सिंपल सिंपल. सो आई विल पास यू इंफॉर्मेशन जो स्टोरी को रीड करने के लिए इनफ हो आपके लिए, राइट? सो थ्री टाइप्स ऑफ कॉर्पोरेशन businesses are there. One is sole proprietorship. I think pretty much everybody knows. Sole proprietor is I am the only person running this small business for myself. This is sole proprietorship. मैं खुद ही चलाता हूँ, अकेला बंदा. उसको मैंने रजिस्टर कर रखी है अपनी कंपनी, लाइक मशरकी पहनावा मैंने रजिस्टर कर रखा है और मैं उसको खुद चलाता हूँ, तो मैं सोल प्रोप्राइटर हो गया. ठीक हो गया. अभी क्या है कि मैंने लेट्स से किरण के साथ मिलके, और मेहरीन और किरण ने मिलके एक पार्टनरशिप पे एक वेंचर ओपन कर लिया. दैट इज नोन एज पार्टनरशिप. सो इफ लेट्स से मी एंड जाया गेट टुगेदर एंड वी डिसाइड टू ओपन अप a partnership, we can open up a partnership, right? And then that's running by how many people? At least two people. And when you start going further from partnership and now you're registering your business as a corporation, what do you call that? That your business is now incorporated. That's the word story we'll be using. Hey, XYZ business is incorporated. So the moment you see this word, that means the corporation is registered. Sounds good? If the story says Mehreen is a sole proprietor, then right away you should be understanding, okay, Mehreen is the only person that will be in the story. Let me catch what they're asking. Let's say they say, hey, Kiran and Mehreen are two partners. They set up their own clothing brand. Okay, now they're talking about partnership. Sounds good? This you need to remember. By the way, one more thing you need to remember, that if you are a sole proprietor, that means you are running the business by yourself. Whatever the income you are making as a sole proprietor will also be the income of your sole proprietorship. So there is no difference. You cannot divide the two. You cannot get a lot of advantages in sole proprietorship. So advantage of having a sole proprietorship is that you don't have anybody's involvement. That's an advantage. Disadvantage is you cannot window dress your income, because whatever your company is making, technically you are the only one. That's also your income. Same problem also comes with partnership. Two people running it, I know they both are 50% partner or whatever. So now whatever the partnership is making at the end of the year, as per the shares, it will also be the income of those two partners, isn't it? Right? So with partnership, this is also advantages, only two people running it. Disadvantages, whatever the partnership is making as per the share of those two partners, that's also their income. Now, why people want to have corporations? Important to understand, because a corporation gives you now a window to play and decrease your taxes. So in corporation, you know what you can do. And by the way, if you are a sole proprietor and you're running, or you are a partnership, you and your company are not different. You both are same. If you go bankrupt, that also goes bankrupt. But the moment you come and open up a corporation, now the things changes. Now corporation is a different legal entity than Mehreen. Now Mehreen has incorporated her business. Maybe she has few people, shareholders. Maybe she is the director. Maybe she has board of directors, some other people. But the moment Mehreen has incorporated her business, now Mehreen's business might be bankrupt, but Mehreen herself may be doing fine. Maybe Mehreen has a lot of business debt on the corporation, but maybe she does not, she's debt free personally. So see, when you incorporate a business, now it becomes two. Maybe the income of your business is higher, but what you give yourself as a salary from that business becomes your personal income as a T4A. Sounds good? Is everything is making sense to you? Why people incorporate their business? Because that's the way you start delaying or avoiding some of the taxes. Unless you're sole proprietor or partners, your business and you are same thing. Sounds good? So any question about this? This is very important. You need to understand these three things, how businesses work in this country. So these are the three different structures. Anybody has any question, you can ask me. You can raise up your thumbs up if anybody, and so that we can move further forward. Awesome. Yes, Mary, can you have a question?
So Asad, so it's only in corporation that we can defer taxes, delay taxes, not in the partnership, right? Partnership pay, if say it could be more than one, two partners, it could be more than two partners, right? लेकिन
Okay.
उसमें आई थिंक टैक्स जो है वो जो नेट होगा वो सब पे लगता है शायद.
Okay, let me give you an easy example. आपको एक आसान सी एग्जांपल देके बताता हूँ. Let's say मेरी सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप है, ठीक है, मैं ही उसका सोल ओनर हूँ. अब मेरे उस प्रोप्राइटरशिप के अंदर मेरा, मान लें मेरा काम है, नेल्स करने का काम है मेरा, मैं नेल्स करता हूँ किसी के, ठीक है. तो वो जितने भी मैंने क्लाइंट्स के नेल्स किए वो पैसा आ गया सारा, वो मेरी इनकम भी तो वही है ना. तो मैं उसको, मुझे टैक्स तो उसी अमाउंट पे पे करना पड़ेगा. अभी क्या है कि मेरी कॉर्पोरेशन है, कॉर्पोरेशन में मैंने काम किया, पैसा कॉर्पोरेशन के अकाउंट में चला गया, उसमें पड़ा है. लेट्स से मैंने इस साल $2 लाख का बिजनेस कर दिया कॉर्पोरेशन में, $2 लाख का. अभी मुझे अपना घर चलाने के लिए $1 लाख चाहिए, मुझे बाकी दूसरा 1 लाख की जरूरत नहीं है. तो मैं क्या करूंगा ना, मैं वो 1 लाख ना निकाल लूंगा एज T4A. उसके ऊपर मैं एक्सपेंसेस दिखा के अपनी कोई विंडो ड्रेस करके अपना टैक्सेस रिड्यूस कर लूंगा. जो बाकी का 1 लाख है ना, वो मैं कॉर्पोरेशन में पड़ा रहने दूंगा. तो वो जो पैसा है ना, उसमें मैंने टैक्स अभी तो फिर पे किया ही नहीं, तो दैट मीन्स मैंने उस पर टैक्स बचा लिया. मैं उस 1 लाख को जो पड़ा हुआ है कॉर्पोरेशन में, मैं उसको डिफरेंट वेंचर्स में अंदर ही अंदर इन्वेस्ट करना शुरू कर दूंगा. उससे एक और ऑफिस खोलने लगूंगा, उसमें से कुछ होल लाइफ इंश्योरेंस के प्लान बाय कर लूंगा, उसमें से कुछ यूनिवर्सल लाइफ के प्लान ले लूंगा, उसमें से कुछ क्रिटिकल इलनेस ले लूंगा, उसमें से कोई रियल स्टेट की प्रॉपर्टी. अभी क्या है ना, मैंने स्मार्टली उस पैसे पे टैक्स तो पे ही नहीं किया, मैंने उसको अंदर ही अंदर इन्वेस्ट कर दिया है. सो दैट इज एन एडवांटेज यू स्टार्ट गेटिंग व्हेन यू हैव अ कॉर्पोरेशन. लेकिन कॉरपोरेशन को ही अलाउड है कि वो अपनी नेट इनकम में इनकम को रिटेन कर सकती है. प्रोप्राइटरशिप में तो जो आपकी इनकम हुई है वो आपने निकाल ही लेनी है, तो उसमें आप डेफर नहीं कर पाओगे. साउंड आपको अंदाजा हो गया, समझ में आ गया मैं क्या कहना चाह रहा हूँ? किरण, एम आई क्लियर? आंसर मिला आपको?
जी जी. सो लाइक कॉर्पोरेशन में ये है कि जब कॉर्पोरेशन का नाम लग जाएगा तो जो भी इनकम आ रही है वो आपके अकाउंट में है, और आधा जो है जैसे हम उस पे हमने निकाल के हमने T4 दिखा के हम उस पे बस उस पे टैक्स देंगे, और जो कॉर्पोरेशन के नाम पे जो पैसे हैं उसको फिर लाइक गवर्नमेंट उस पे टैक्सेस नहीं लगाएगी, हम उसको चाहे मतलब इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं अपनी मर्जी से. दैट्स व्हाट यू
एग्जैक्टली,
आर सेइंग, राइट?
एग्जैक्टली. फार्मासिस्ट हैं, डॉक्टर्स हैं, लॉयर्स हैं, उन्होंने बहुत ये कर रखा है कि उन्होंने अपनी अपनी कॉर्पोरेशंस खोल रखी हैं. तो उनकी कॉर्पोरेशन में 4-4 लाख डॉलर पड़े हैं. उन और वो अपनी हर साल अपने आप को एक इनकम दे देते हैं, बीइंग अ डायरेक्टर एक सैलरी निकाल लेते हैं उसमें से, कॉर्पोरेशन में से जो उनके खर्चे हैं. वो अपने
ओके
आप को,
ओके.
अब अगर डॉक्टर की तनख्वाह, अगर मान लें किरण, अगर डॉक्टर की तनख्वाह $3 लाख है, तो उसकी तो टैक्स ब्रैकेट ही 54% हो जाएगी. उसका तो आधा पैसा गवर्नमेंट खा जाएगी. तो वो क्या करता है डॉक्टर, वो कॉर्पोरेशन खोलता है, वो $3 लाख कॉर्पोरेशन में मंगवाता है, फिर उसमें से उसकी जितनी साल का खर्चा उसको चाहिए होता है वो उतनी ही अपने आप को सैलरी निकालता है, ताकि उसकी इनकम टैक्स उतने पे ट्रिगर हो. बाकी का पैसा कॉर्पोरेशन में ही पड़ा रहता है. उस पैसे को फिर आप स्लोली फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर की मदद
ओके.
से इन्वेस्ट करते
हाँ,
हो.
सही.
ये
अच्छा
तरीका होता है.
असद, एक चीज लेकिन जैसे फर्ज करें कि वुडंट द गवर्नमेंट आस्क कि ये जो कंपनी जैसे लाइक, मुझे याद आ रहा है कि मेरे को रिश्तेदार ने भी इसी तरह से किया हुआ था. उन्होंने कंपनी खोली हुई थी और फिर अपनी फादर को, वाइफ को एम्प्लॉय दिखाया हुआ था, राइट? और उनकी
ओके, तो
तनख्वाह
किरण,
जारी
हाँ,
थी.
उसमें उसमें जो है ना, क्या होता है कि ये दिस प्रिविलेज इज एक्चुअली प्रोवाइडेड बाय गवर्नमेंट. You know,
ओके.
a lot of the time, there are two sides. Many people in Canada understand that Canada is a taxation country. Yes, I do understand. But many people do not know that what are the exemptions provided to Canadians as well to save some taxes.
ओके.
That is where education is required, right? So
हम्म.
taxes are there. Yes, I have to pay taxes, you have to pay taxes, everyone have to pay taxes, but who knows that what are the exemptions? The people who are educated, they know exemption doors as well, so they save some money from using those doors. Those who are not educated, they might not even know it, or some people try to do wrong stuff, then they are caught by CRA. So you have to play within your boundaries, but you need to know what doors are available. Whenever there is something, always find out that there's always exemptions given to you as well. See if you fall or become eligible in those exemptions. Sounds good?
ओके.
So
ओके.
this is a privilege given by government, so this is legally allowed. You should not be ashamed at saving taxes as a business owner. Why would you do that? Government of Canada is giving you this privilege. You are privileged people than job doers. right? So it's not a shame that you're saving some taxes. You know how some people come to you and tell you, hey, you guys do business, you save a lot of money, we are running the government. Hey, that's your choice, man. Right? We are given this blessing by the virtue of government and we're taking full advantage. You also have the same advantage. You also can become a business owner. Who's stopping you? I reply back to the people like this, otherwise people will come in and try to play emotionally and, do those things because grapes are always sour, right? What people cannot achieve, they always feel like grapes are sour. So, but corporation is a way provided to Canadians to save taxes and to defer taxes. That is why
Right.
this is a country where you will be blessed if you can become a business owner. Okay. I hope that this is a good talk and I think you all understood about corporation, because if you don't understand how corporation work, you can never educate or help any corporation outside. Yes, Mary.
So basically जो WFG का concept है वो भी corporation ही है क्योंकि हम अपने partners ढूंढ रहे हैं.
So this will be a distracted discussion. I don't want to talk about this,
Okay.
but we can discuss one-on-one, right?
Okay.
So it's a different ball game. But let's
Okay.
now continue with this. Are you guys now done good with these types of businesses? Okay, now let's go on to further and now talk about risk to the business owner. What are the risks to the business owner? In my talk, I have discussed briefly, but I want to go over again. The number one risk is that if this business is small and the owner is the main person, then if owner becomes disabled, this poses a risk to the business, right? So that's the number one risk. Second, risk of being unable to sell the business. Let's say after years from now you feel like you're exhausted, you cannot maintain with the daily needs of the business, nobody else in your family knows how that business is run, now you need to sell it. But if you wish to sell it, that's not a guarantee that the buyer is ready to buy it. Maybe people come in, they give you their own offers, but you might not be willing to sell on their offer. So second risk to business is risk of being unable to sell the business. That risk could be because of disability or could be because of aging owners, and his body is not able to cope up with the physicality or the demands of business anymore. Sounds good, right? And the third risk to the business could be loss of a key employee due to disability. That risk could be the prime example is restaurant is always run by the chef, right? Because chef is the main person who makes those recipe. People come to same restaurant because of the taste and also because of the ambience you can maintain, but the taste you need to have that chef on board, right? So if a chef become disabled or something has happened to that person, that's a key person, so that also poses a threat to the business. So these are the three key areas business feel pressured, right? Now let's talk about next is loss of a key. Okay, I just mentioned these things. I feel like when I need to tell you something, I'll tell you something, otherwise pretty much self-explanatory things. Okay, why the disability happens normally? It could happen due to any reason, by the way, to a business owner, right? There is no fit reason, but you need to understand the definition of disability. We have definition of disability: own occupation, regular occupation, any occupation. So for the business insurances, majority of the time the definition stays own occupation. If I am the business owner, if I am doing certain set of responsibilities in my business every day, then if I'm not able to do the same duties, then my business might lose profits or might become an obligation. So that means I need to have an own occupation sort of disability, so that if I'm able to do the same work that I was doing before, then I'm good. Otherwise, I need some kind of money coming from insurance companies to give me support so that I can maintain the physical or the financial obligations during that hardship. Sounds good? So the definition is always which? Own occupation. Now, in the case of sole proprietorship, in sole proprietorship, if you need to buy what type of disability, that is normally as in personal or individual disability, because the person is only responsible to run the business. He's a sole proprietor. Now if you see that there's two partners, Then in those two partners, you can have different arrangements. You know, one of the very famous arrangement is a crisscross arrangement. I'll talk about it later on. But if you are two partners, now let me ask you a question. Mehreen, if you and Kiran are two partners and you are running one partnership company together, so yes, everything was going great for last 5 years. All of a sudden, now Kiran got become disabled and she's not able to come to work for 6 months. And now all the burden is on you. You are also running your show, but also you're trying to sympathize with her, but you have to do extra work on Kiran's behalf as well. Would you keep doing it, or you get tired one day?
Obviously tired one day.
Yes, that is why in partnership you need to protect each other, because it's completely fair. Mehreen is doing her part of the business. She can support 1 or 2 months, but if that becomes prolonged, now if it's 1 year and Kiran is still not able to make back, then of course Mehreen will say, hey, you know what, Kiran, I feel like this is now a prolonged thing and I cannot cope with it. If you either you provide me a replacement, or you know what, you can sell your portion to me, I'm willing to buy it, or so whatever arrangement you guys can make. So then Mehreen have 100% ownership, now she can run it. So that is the triggering point as well. Normally between partners or in corporation, when you get some kind of arrangement between two people, the mandatory time period of disability is 12 months. Remember that. That they wait for at least 12 months whether Kiran is coming back or not. If Kiran is not coming back and 12 months are done, अभी क्या होगा, अभी मेहरीन के पास वो ऑप्शंस खुल जाएंगी. Now मेहरीन is entitled to claim and to try to negotiate with Kiran that okay, you know what, I want to buy the rest of the share as well, because I feel like it's 12 months are gone, you're not still able to make your way back to work. Sounds good. So 12 months is an important thing that you need to remember. Okay, so another thing. So right now, what I mentioned about in business is your own disability might cause some financial burden, that your inputs are now gone if you are the person putting input. But there are some other expenses too in the business. I call them business overhead expenses. Can anybody give me few example of business overhead expenses?
Yes, for example, I'm doing the clothing business, so I have to do give the delivery charges because my things are coming from another country, so it's not coming from here. So that's the overhead. Like I'm not buying any raw materials from here, so obviously it's expensive. Plus, if I do the stalls or anything where I am opening my shop, so I have to pay the rent there. So these are all over expenses.
Very nice. You gave good examples. So you know what? You have two now major problem. If you get disabled, yes, your own salary is a problem. But even after tackling with your own salary, you still have some fixed cost that you need to make sure is also covered, like your rent, like your utilities, like the property taxes, like the delivery charges, like the vehicle and equipment that you use in your business, you pay their monthly installment. Like if you have some business loan on you and you're making interest or principal payment back on the business loan, like you have employees and you pay them salary, right? Like you have phone or internet installed on your business place, you need to pay their monthly bills. This is all counted in what? Business overhead expenses. Question will come and say BOE, business overhead expenses, right? So business overhead expenses, you need to insure this part separately in a disability plan as a rider or as a stand alone separate plan. And your own income is a different thing. I will give you one good example and you will understand, you will have clarity on this. But right now, ask me if somebody is not able to understand that these are two different things. Business overhead expenses are different thing. Those are the fixed cost. And then your own income, because you also need to run your own house. And where are you making money? Of course, from your own business. So these are two separate things. Everybody is with me on this page? Okay, I will now read you an example just to help you understand what I'm talking about. Wait. Okay, so example, let's understand this example. Mary business overhead contract allows for a monthly maximum benefit of 6,000. In the first month of benefit eligibility, the business has qualifying expense of, okay, you know what, this is a different example, not this one. Okay, here is the one. So Tamiru is a professional photographer operating out of a rented studio using a leased van for the business and employing one part-time assistant. That's her story. His business earns on an average $15,000 a month. After allowing for fixed expenses of 4,000 a month on an average and variable expenses of 2,000 a month. These are two fixed and variable expenses. Tamiru gross take home income is 9,000. He makes 15,000, but then his take home is how much? 9,000, right? So 9,000 is his personal income. Now, if he wants to take a disability insurance covers you 60% of your income. So now he has taken out a personal disability income replacement insurance that would pay him $5,400 a month, which is 60% of 9,000. ये तो उसकी अपनी इनकम सेव हो गई. बट व्हाट अबाउट वो जो 6,000 उसके मंथली खर्चा था जो उसने पे करना था, फिक्स कॉस्ट एंड वेरिएबल कॉस्ट, वो कहां से कवर हो रहा है? दैट्स
वो
नॉट बीइंग कवर्ड,
वो
राइट?
या तो उसमें राइडर होगा या उसकी डिफरेंट होगी इंश्योरेंस.
Yes, very true. So for that part,
जी
because अगर तो उसने अपनी इनकम तो सिक्योर कर ली 5,400, अभी क्या होगा, वो वैन की जो 2,000 के जो चार्जेस थे वो तो वैन बेचनी पड़ जाएगी. वो जो जो सैलरी पे असिस्टेंट रखा हुआ उसको तो सैलरी देनी है, नहीं तो वो छोड़ के निकल जाएगा. फिक्स कॉस्ट 4,000 भरनी है. तो ही ऑल्सो नीड्स अ बिजनेस ओवरहेड इंश्योरेंस टू पे द फिक्स कॉस्ट, वेरिएबल कॉस्ट separately, and he has to have an independent disability so that his own 9,000 is also protected. Otherwise, when he recovers from disability, maybe the van is gone, maybe the assistant is gone, maybe the rent building is gone. Now, what kind of business he has? Nothing. So you understand these are two separate things: business overhead expenses and your own personal income. So you need to protect majority of the time. For a small business owner, he needs to protect both together or independent, standalone. Sounds good? Anybody has any question? And what is the definition of disability in this case, business? What is the definition of disability?
Business insurance.
No, definition of disability, own occupation.
Own occupation.
occupation.
Guys, whenever I'm talking about the definition of disability, I'm asking about those protocols, that own occupation, a regular occupation, or any occupation. Whenever I'm talking about definition, you need to give me answer from those three. It's not about I'm not asking vocabulary definition, what disability means. So it's a definition of disability in the contract. Okay, how the payout or claim will be made. So the definition of disability in this contract stays own occupation. Now let's talk about the benefits. So benefits normally are fixed benefits. Like they decide on, let's say, okay, they decide on, we're going to pay you $5,000 for the business overhead expenses every month. Now this is fixed. Let's say if my business this month incurred, because there are some businesses, those are seasonal business as well. Some months they have more expenses, some months they have less expenses. Let's say I'm entitled for 5,000 a month benefit for my business overhead expense, and this month I only incur, मेरा खर्चा ही 3,900 का हुआ है, तो मुझे कितना पे आउट करेगी इंश्योरेंस उस महीने में?
60%.
No, after 60% I am entitled for 5,000. ये डिसाइड हो चुका
Okay.
है, मुझे 5,000 के बेनिफिट मिलेंगे बीओई में, बट
Okay.
मेरा इस महीने वो बेनिफिट मुझे रीइंबर्समेंट मोड पे मिलते हैं, मुझे
अगर
एक्सपेंसेस.
हाँ सीजनल होगा तो डिपेंडिंग, अगर आपका वो हाई सीजन है तो आपको वो फुल अमाउंट शायद मिलेगी, और अगर आपका हाई सीजन नहीं है तो फिर जो इनकम होगी उसके हिसाब से उस सीजन उस टाइम
लेट्स से
पीरियड के आगे.
सिंपल क्वेश्चन करता हूँ, आपके पास अलॉटमेंट है, यू कैन हैव 5,000 मंथली बेनिफिट टुवर्ड्स बिजनेस ओवरहेड एक्सपेंसेस, वो आपकी अलॉटमेंट है. बट ये पैसा आपको वो आपकी जेब में नहीं डालते, वो आपसे कहते हैं हमें बिल दिखा दो 5,000 के तो ले लो. It's reimbursement mode. You need to show them the receipts, they will pay you the money. You are entitled for 5,000, but you need to show them the expenses. Let's say February में you only have $3,900 expenses, तो कितना पे आउट करेंगे वो?
3,900.
Very good. Let's say in March you have 5400 expenses, कितना पे आउट करेंगे वो?
अब हमारा 5000 का ही है, तो
कैप.
आपको 5000 नहीं मिलेगा।
Very
हाँ,
true.
हाँ, उससे ऊपर का नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन क्योंकि हम entitled उसके लिए।
Right. If your expenditures are 5400, but your entitlement is 5000, you will be paid 5000. If your entitlement is 5000, your expenses are 3900, you will be paid only 3900. But guess what? You can carry forward the remaining budget. Now,
Oh.
let's say in February, you only showed bill for 3900. So you have 1100 available. So let's say in March, you report 454. Now the 400 they will cover from the previous month's 1100. Now the balance is 700. So that's how the benefits are calculated and paid in business overhead expenses. So let's say they will give you, first of all, okay, Marine, we will give you 5000 for 60 months, 5000 a month for 60 months. But if not all of your months are $5,000 expense, then whatever is remaining, your 60 month will be increased. Maybe now it's 66 months, maybe now it's 70 months, unless your full entitlement is used. Sounds good? That is how the benefits are paid. Remember this part, important thing, okay? And then there is a waiting period, because normally businesses need less waiting period, because if person gets disabled, he is an important person, you need to get payment right away. So normally waiting period for the business disability insurance is between 15 to 90 days. The shorter, the better. Okay, but normally the range is between 15 to 90. But why tell you, if there is a range, normally you don't normally the examiner don't ask question on that. Examiner tend to ask question on a single accurate figure. I have noticed normally they don't ask range based questions, but it's good for your information. You need to know, if you are protecting a business, you need to choose the minimum waiting period, because business might really go down into losses very soon. Okay, so that's what it is. Guys, any questions so far about BOE, benefits, waiting period? All good? All right, nice. I talk about carryover benefit as well. Now, next I'm going to talk about exclusions. Very important. Exclusions are always very, very important. And me and Marina were going through some application today, and now she got an idea how we are using our knowledge that we're learning into practical application and exclusion and all those things. So yes, there are exclusions into business plans as well. So let's talk about provisions and exclusions. A business overhead policy may include a variety of standard or optional provisions, including आपको waiver of premium मिल सकता है. You can have a waiver of premium option or rider available onto your business overhead expense. Let's say you are paying for a business overhead expense, you become disabled, right? Or something has happened to your income. Now you don't have to pay the remaining premium. So it's a waiver of premium is available, return of premium is available, future purchase option rider is available on BOE. Clauses for presumptive disability. Remember, we understood this in chapter 2, presumptive disability, partial disability, and residual disability. You need to remember these disability concepts, right? So these are all the riders and provisions available to business overhead or business disability insurance as well. What are the exclusions? Exclusions are self-inflicted injury, war, terrorism, normal pregnancy, injuries or illness contracted in the course of carrying out criminal activities. These are the exclusions. If you are getting disabled due to these things, then forget about the claims. All right. Next is I'm going to talk about the tax treatment of premiums and benefits. By the way, what I would like to do, I would like to leave this taxation treatment at the very end, because at the very end in the book, there is a table. I would like to show you guys a table. Just master and cram that table. That will save you, so much energy, and that will save you so many questions. Because now what they're doing, while I'm reading the book, they're going individual. We're discussing business overhead. They're telling you the treatment of business overhead. Then they go on to the next topic they'll talk about. But at the end, they've given a table comparison, and that's the one to remember. So I will discuss taxation treatment at the end. Sounds good? Okay. So let's now go on to the next one. The next one, insurance is, so far we have discussed how many types. Number one, we have discussed business disability insurance. That is for the person's personal income. personal income, right? Then I discuss business overhead expenses. That is for the fixed cost and variable cost of the business. Now, the third type I'm going to discuss is business loan protection disability insurance. You know, every business needs running finance. So businessman's definition is, look, this is the businessman's definition. Businessman never uses his own money. Businessman is smart enough to use other people or other financial institution money and to make more money from that and keep paying it. So businessman is all about rotation of money. A smart business owner is who does not use money from his pocket. He borrows money, he utilizes money, he makes money on that borrowed money and then pays back a certain portion as a cost of borrowing to the institution. So that is a prime example of how business circulate money. They need a running finance. Now, that is very, very important and normal. Any business might be having a lot of loans on them, right? Because that's running finance. It's very usual, common thing. So now this is the third thing, because business overhead insurance will only protect or pay the interest part of the loan. Very, very important point I'm telling you. Business overhead insurance is only covering which part? The interest part of the loan. That's not going to cover the principal that you pay back. So if you have a loan of, let's say, 200,000, $2 लाख का आपके बिजनेस ने लोन ले रखा है जिसपे आपकी मंथली 2,000 की इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट होती है, सो बिजनेस ओवरहेड विल कवर द इंटरेस्ट 2,000 पेमेंट्स, लेकिन जो आपका 2 लाख का लोन है वो तो नहीं पे कर रहा वो. So then you have to have a business loan protection disability insurance. If I get disabled, I also want to pay back my principal loan, not just the interest. Then this insurance is important. Guys, is it making sense to you? I'm trying to make it simple, breaking it down. I wish somebody has told me or taught me like this before. I had no idea about how I'm trying to teach you everything because I want you to do it, have a grip over this. So business loan protection disability is the purpose is to pay the principal portion. Okay. That's pretty much it. Who needs the coverage? Any business who have this loan on them, they need the coverage. Eligible loans. What are the eligible loans in this one that they will cover? Now, this is a definition of eligible loans. To qualify for coverage, the loan must meet the following criteria. Number one, it should be essential to business operations. जो लोन आपने लिया है वो आपके बिजनेस ऑपरेशन के लिए एसेंशियल होना चाहिए. ऐसा बेतुका लोन ना हो जो आपने बस उसको दिखा रहे हैं कि ये लोन हमने पता नहीं क्यों ले लिया है एंड नाउ वी वांट टू प्रोटेक्ट दिस, वो नहीं कवर होगा. Only the loan which is eligible to qualify is a loan which is essential to the operations of business, right? That's it. जैसे बहुत सारे अभी पीछे क्या हुआ था कि गवर्नमेंट ने बिजनेस को लोन देना शुरू किया, हर किसी ने 50-50 हजार का सीबा लोन उठा लिया. वो सीबा लोन मेरा नहीं ख्याल कि वो किसी भी उसमें कवर होगा क्योंकि वो ऑपरेशंस के लिए नहीं है. लोगों ने ऐसे उठा लिया वो सीबा का लोन 50-50 हजार डॉलर का. अभी फंसे पड़े हैं उसकी पेमेंट्स मेक करने में बहुत सारे लोग, राइट? सो मेक श्योर लोन मीट्स द क्राइटेरिया. Second criteria of the loan is interest paid on the loan must be tax deductible. Forget about this. Way beyond your expertise right now. Forget about this. Issued by the financial institution, like किसी बैंक ने issue किया हुआ हो, may be issued from a trust company or a credit union or a loan company. ऐसा नहीं है that I got 50,000 loan from Jaya. Jaya is neither a bank, nor a trust company, nor a credit union, nor a loan company. I cannot pay back, get an insurance to pay back Jaya's loan. Jaya is nobody. She's not a listed loan provider. So loan criteria should be it essential to the business operation. Secondly, it must be issued from a bank, trust company, credit union, or a loan company. Sounds good, guys? Okay. Now, who qualifies for such coverage? कौन सा बिजनेस क्वालिफाई करता है इस इंश्योरेंस के लिए? व्हाट टाइप ऑफ बिजनेस इज एलिजिबल टू क्वालिफाई फॉर दिस काइंड ऑफ इंश्योरेंस? At least business have to be registered for 3 years, and at least business is profitable for 3 years. Not like the business is showing losses last 3 years and you want to get qualified for the disability insurance to protect your loans. No, 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 no. It's not going to work like that. Your business has to be profitable for last 3 years so that you can get eligible to qualify for a disability insurance to pay back your loans. Business should meet a minimum net worth standard criteria. जो भी उनका cut off होगा, that should meet. Business should satisfy occupational classification of the insurance. Forget about this, beyond your expertise. Loans that will be covered must be related to business operations, such as mortgage on business property, such as equipment loan, such as business line of credit, that is running finance, or such as business account overdraft. So these are some of the examples of eligible operations of the business. Sounds good? Next, guys, let's talk about the benefits, how the benefits are paid out from a disability insurance to protect the loans of a business, how the benefits are paid out in this kind of. So benefits are normally paid out as monthly, or you can also get lump sum as well. Both features are available, right? I am not sure whether they will test you on that too detailed, but yes, both options are available. You can either get a monthly way or you can get a lump sum way as well. Then there are exclusions and there's tax treatment. We're going to talk about tax treatment later on at the end. Sounds good for this category of disability for the business. All right. I'm going to now turn my attention to the insurance to address the owner's inability to sell the business. Now the second topic is coming, the second risk. Now people want to sell the business, and what kind of insurances can help owners sell the business when owner become incapable or disabled or aging owner or want to sell it. What kind of insurance can actually really help these people in these kind of circumstances? Okay, so it says every business owner must eventually dispose of his business in terms of either selling the business. भाई हर किसी को एक ना एक दिन मरना ही है, हर एक किसी को एक ना एक दिन बूढ़े होना ही है, तो एक ना एक दिन उसकी हिम्मत जवाब दे जाएगी कि अब मैं नहीं इस बिजनेस को संभाल सकता. सो या तो आपको फिर सेल करना पड़ेगा उस टाइम पे, या फिर आपको अपने बच्चों को किसी को ट्रेन करना पड़ेगा जो आपके बाद उस बिजनेस को संभाल ले, या फिर आपको जो है ना उस बिजनेस को खत्म करना पड़ेगा कि भाई मेरे साथ बिजनेस भी मर गया, ये मेरा ही मशरकी पहनावा था, वो मैं ही चलाती थी, अब मैं ही नहीं रही तो मशरकी पहनावा भी नहीं रहा, खत्म हो गया. तो ये तीन ऑप्शन में से एक ना एक ऑप्शन तो आनी है, एक ना एक दिन तो आनी है. जा लेट मी कम बैक अगेन. व्हेन यू एज and your physical demands go down, your physical health start going down, you either have to one day sell the business, or you need to train somebody in your family so that they can now run it and you can transfer it to the next generation, or you need to, the business will die as you die because nobody else was trained in your family, you were not able to even sell it, now the business is dying, nobody is able to willing to buy your business because there is no system in your business, whatever could be the reason. So now it's going to die with you. So these are the problem or risk imposed to the business owner. Now, how insurances help people in this circumstances is very, very important. Number one is buy-sell agreement. You know what is a buy-sell agreement? A buy-sell agreement spells out what will happen to the business if the owner or partner dies or become disabled. So आप क्या करते हो ना, आप buy-sell agreement ले लेते हो इंश्योरेंस की सूरत में कि भाई अगर मैं कल को डिसेबल हो गया एंड माय डिसेबिलिटी मेरी 12 महीनों तक चल पड़ी, तो अभी क्या है कि दूसरे पार्टनर को या जो भी है तो मेरा वो बाय सेल एग्रीमेंट जो है ना वो किक इन हो जाएगा, तो मुझे इंश्योरेंस कंपनी से कुछ पैसे आएंगे, दैट मनी आई विल यूज टू सेल माय बिजनेस और डू व्हाटएवर. तो दैट इज नोन एज अ बाय सेल एग्रीमेंट दैट यू मेक. थोड़ी सी डिटेल हम इसकी देखेंगे. Okay. So in this one, it says purpose of this agreement. What is the purpose of this agreement? The purpose of the buy-sell agreement is to provide a succession plan for the business. Succession is who's going to take it after you. Succession plan of the business. How to fairly accommodate disability of an owner or partner. Now, example read कर रहा हूँ. आपको इस example से बहुत सारी चीजें clear हो जाएंगी. Lawrence, Daryl, and Darren, Jaya, Kiran, and Asad were 3 cousins, let's say, all in their early 40s, who formed a partnership to operate a dental practice. The practice was very successful, with the cousins sharing office space and net profit from the practice, but each owning their own dental equipment. Jaya owned her own dental equipment, I owned my own, and Mehreen owned her own dental equipment. they had often talked about where they hoped the practice would go in the future and how they would look after each other's family if something happened to one of them, but never took any specific action. उन्होंने कोई एक्शन तो लिया ही नहीं, सोचते थे उसके बारे में. Darren was severely injured in an automobile accident. Let's say Jaya became severely injured in this automobile accident and never to be able to return to work and manage his own affairs in the partnership. Jaya's spouse, Amale maybe, became responsible for managing her assets, including her dental equipments and her share in the partnership. Asad and Mehreen wished to acquire Jaya's equipment, right, to be used by a young dentist and hoped to bring into the practice. Now, here the buy-sell agreement, if that was in place, can help us. You know how it happens? We can buy a buy-sell agreement on Jaya's life insured. Jaya, we can make Jaya life insured or disability insured. So let's say when she was not able to come back from work, it triggered in 12 months, the company made lump sum payment. It could be monthly or it could be lump sum. Let's say if we got monthly payment, I and Mehreen were able to hire a young dentist, and that dentist salary will be paid from the payments received every month from her disability. Sounds good? Or if we get a lump sum money, we will pay that lump sum money to Jaya's spouse. Hey, you know what? Sell this to us. So now that becomes your and my ownership, and we can now hire somebody. The profit we're going to make is between us. So that is a typical example of buy sell agreement. Sounds good? Yes, Marine, you have a question?
ये जो लास्ट वाला पॉइंट है कि हम जायज स्पाउस को देते हैं, दैट्स बेसिकली द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी गिव यू दैट मनी, वी डोंट नीड टू पुट इट इन द फ्रॉम द पॉकेट.
जी जी, यही तो बेनिफिट है. अब मुझे बताओ, किसी बिजनेस को अगर ये ना हो, क्या वो बिजनेस में सिक्योरिटी होगी? कौन चाहता है कि हमारे बिजनेस में कल हमारी फैमिली के अलावा कोई तीसरा अननोन बंदा आ जाए? कोई भी नहीं चाहता. बट अगर ऐसे प्रॉब्लम आ जाए और फैमिली को पता ही ना हो कैसे रन करना है, तो फिर मजबूरी है, किसी तीसरे बंदे को आना पड़ता है, और तभी बिजनेस को प्रॉब्लम लगते हैं. आपने सुनी होंगी वो कहानियां कि भाई एक तीसरा बंदा आया, ऐसी प्रॉब्लम आ गई थी, हमारा तो अच्छा खासा बिजनेस था, किसी ने चाचा का लड़का आ गया, उसने आ गया और उसने आगे ना लूट खाया. ये बड़ी कॉमन कहानियां हैं. तो क्यों लूट खाया? क्योंकि आपने कभी इन चीजों पे ध्यान ही नहीं दिया, या फिर किसी ने आपको बताया ही नहीं. इफ यू डू प्रॉपर प्लानिंग, योर बिजनेस इज सिक्योर फॉर योर फैमिली. You do the right way. So any question so far about this arrangement, why business needs to have this buy sell agreement? Good. Okay, so parties to the agreement. Now I will tell you there are two important types of agreement. Those you need to remember. They always ask question. One is criss cross arrangement. Okay, and second one that I just mentioned is buyout, that you buy out somebody's shares, right? And the second one is crisscross. So the crisscross arrangement is always, let's say, Marine, you and I are partners, two partners into this corporation. Now I say, okay, our corporation always accumulates money. Remember in the beginning, I told you that corporation have net income, retained income. So from that money, let's say Jaya is an advisor. She approached you and I, and she arranged a meeting with us. Jaya asked us, both of us, that do we have a buyout in case of an emergency? If something is to happen to me and I'm not able to get back to work, Mehreen, do you have some thing in place that you can actually buy Asad's share? Mehreen will say, maybe no. Then Jaya might be, as an advisor, ask question, do you have enough cash available that you can sell it? You can pay cash and buy Asad's shares? You might say no. Then she will recommend us, why don't you guys have money sitting in your corporation? Why don't you buy a crisscross insurance? She will recommend Mehreen to buy one insurance policy on my life, where you are the policy holder, I am the life insured, and you are the beneficiary. See? So in that regards, it is allowed because we're together in that business, we're partners. That's allowed. Now it's not an insurability problem. So let's say she says the premium will be paid from the corporation account. You, Mehreen, will be the policy owner. I will be the life insured. Mehreen is the beneficiary. Now I'm get disabled. I'm not coming back to work even after 12 months. Now you get payment because who's the beneficiary? You were the beneficiary. Insurance company paid you the money. You paid that money. If you get monthly, you can find a replacement who can do my part of the work, or you can get lump sum, you can pay to my family and buy my share. Sounds good? This can happen in both way. You can have a disability, or you can also have a life insurance on me if I died. Then you want to buy my outstanding share. Similarly, Jaya will tell me, Asad, you also buy one for on the life of Mehreen. This is known as crisscross. Criss cross. Now she will recommend me, Asad, again take money from corporation. You don't have to pay it from your pocket. Utilize that money from corporation account. Now you become policy owner, Mehreen becomes life insured, and you become beneficiary. So if it happened vice versa, I will get money from insurance company and I will try to do the same. Sounds good. This arrangement is known as what? Criss cross arrangement. Now, don't you think all the companies, all the business in partnership needs to have this kind of arrangement? It's a must. So yes, that's where our role is. We need to sit down with business owners and educate them. Do you have these important things? So that's how a example of crisscross. Yes. And the second one, as I told you, is the buyout insurance, where you simply just buy out from a corporation plan that I talked about before. You pay premium from the corporation. Now you are the only one. This is now not a crisscross. So in this one, Mehreen is a policy owner, right? Life insured is who? Is that partner? Is that other person? And Mehreen, your corporation is the beneficiary. Who is the beneficiary? Corporation is the beneficiary.
Corporation.
So corporation receive the money, and from that money you will buy out somebody's share. It's not a crisscross. It's a little bit different idea. We'll study deep down in this in chapter number 8 of life insurance module. This will be we'll going in detail about this two arrangement. But for now, if you get the understanding, should be good enough for this module's capacity. Guys, anybody has any question, please ask me. All good? Okay. So now another important question, how to decide on a price? In other words, how to decide on how much amount of insurance to purchase? Because the amount of insurance I will purchase is technically the price I will pay to my partner's family to buy the business. That's very important to decide on a price, right? Because we're right now talking about it. That's our current business, but business might scale up in next 10 years. Maybe the price at that time is higher. So deciding on a price is a very important feature. Yes, Mehreen.
Yes, I just want to answer, like, it's like the long term, right? For example, the dollar prices right now, what is that? How much it's after 10 years?
Yes, let's say right now your and my company is producing 200,000 profit. Maybe 10 years from now, it's producing $1 million worth of profit. Now, if I
And
want
it's
to buy,
also depending on inflation rate too.
exactly, it depends on number of reasons. So I am 100% sure if you and I were to live next 10 years, our business will grow. And once the business will grow, I need to have more money to buy your shares, right? I need to pay your family more money. So how to decide on the price or how to decide on how much amount of insurance is to be purchased is very critical. So there are certain ways how you decide it. Number one way is you decide a fixed price. That's the least preferable method. Why? Because fixed price is not considering taking into consideration the future value of the business, right? But sometimes people go with fixed price as well. How do you determine the price? Right now, me and Mehreen sit down and we'll decide, okay, you know what, this is the price. If I'll tell Mehreen, okay, Mehreen, if I die, you need to pay my family this much money, so buy this amount of insurance. This is a fixed price, but this is the least preferred method. Why? Because our business can grow in few years. So it's not considering that. I hope that you guys are with me. You're understanding each and everything, what I'm talking, why I'm talking that. The second way is you figure out a price formula. In this one, you decide on a formula that, okay, at that time, the payment will be made on the basis of this formula. This is second best, not the most preferred way. But yes, in this one, parties agrees on a formula to value business interest at that time, so they can decide on that and they can put this thing into an insurance agreement. Okay, based on this formula, every year we want increment on our insurances. It doesn't really matter, our premiums are also going up every year. That's okay, but we want our business to be at a fair market value. That's what most our important desire is. And the third thing is you hire a third party evaluator. जैसे बाहर से लोग आते हैं आपके business की valuation लगाते हैं, right? जो third parties होती है, when third parties come in and they do their proper procedure to find out the fair market value of your business, and then they decide, okay, how much are the outstanding shares between two. So you can also go with a third party evaluator. In this one, a third party assigns a value at the time of selling that will be binding on all parties. What does it mean by binding? ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि कल को मेरीन कह दे नहीं नहीं मैंने थर्ड पार्टी की बात नहीं माननी. नो नो, जब आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जा रहे हो, इट्स अ बाइंडिंग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. If you are signing the contract today, then that means it holds true forever until the contract is in place. It's a binding contract both for you and for me. So we both of us need to be agreed upon on something. It cannot happen that tomorrow you say, no, I'm not going by the evaluation made by third party. My business is worth more. You cannot do this. Whatever is the binding contract, it's a binding contract. Sounds good? All right. So yeah, that's pretty much is the three ways: either fixed, least preferred, or through a formula, or through a third party valuation. By the way, whenever somebody tries to buy a business or sell a business, they always go with these third parties evaluation. That's the most preferred way, because you take biasness away. If I and Mehreen are the two partners, we will always be very emotional about our business. We will be very, always having fights because we're emotional about our own money. We will be biased. But if let's say I call Jaya to come and have a look at my business, my operations, Jaya will not be biased with us. She will give us a fair value. That's why people would love to go with a third party opinion on that. Sounds good? ऐसा ही है ना कि मैंने अपनी गाड़ी बेचनी है तो मैं कहूंगा मेरी गाड़ी तो भाई 7,000 से कम की नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं इमोशनल हूँ अपनी गाड़ी को लेके. बाहर से किरण आएंगे, वो कहेंगे कि भाई तुम्हारी जैसी गाड़ियां तो 5,000 की बिक रही हैं बाहर, तुम क्यों 7,000 करते फिर रहे हो. तो थर्ड पार्टी को वैल्यू करना पड़ता है क्योंकि मार्केट प्राइस वही मिलेगी. सो दैट्स व्हाट एग्जैक्टली आई मीन टू से, फाइंड हायर समबडी हु कैन डू वैल्यूएशन ऑफ योर बिजनेस ऑन योर बिहाफ. दैट्स थर्ड पार्टी वैल्यूएशन. साउंड्स गुड? नाउ नेक्स्ट देयर आर टू. Okay, taxation, assured disability, buyout insurances. We talk about this. Waiting period, we covered waiting period, we covered benefit periods. We covered feature of disability, we covered termination. The tax treatment is the only thing missing. Yes, one important insurance. Insurance to address the loss of a key employee. So I'm coming on to the next feature, key person insurance. You will always get a question about this. This is very important because many restaurants are run by one or two key people, or many other businesses, small businesses are run by one or two key people. You can also be a key person, or maybe another one. It could be your family member. It could be somebody, a close friend of you who's been right there with you since the day one. Now they are the key players in that. So that is a concept of key person insurance. As I told you, like a chef's example is a very prime example. What you do, if a key person gets disabled, now that poses a risk. Now that key person is not coming to work, that means business will not meet business will not make those profits that business was making in the presence of that person, of course. So the losses that is coming or happening will be covered by insurance company, because you bought what, a key person insurance. So when that person is away, the insurance company will pay monthly money, so that will cover the losses that my business is having because of the loss of key person. Secondly, some people can also start hiring temporary basis to replace the key person. That might involve new training programs, cost, some trainings for them. So you also recover some of the money paid from insurance company to finance those costs. So that is why people would, a business always need to have key people. If the business have key people, then go buy a key person insurance. By the way, who pays for this key person insurance? Again, the money is taken out from the corporation, not from your pocket. So business have so many privileges. That's the same money. You're not paying taxes right now, but it is sitting in your corporation. Look how many different purpose you can use that money for, to have security. Now, why would you not have a corporation? If a person who's smart and educated always now want to have a corporation, because corporation gives you a lot of freedom and privileges. Sounds good? Okay, so that's the key person insurance. Who is a key person? I told you. What is the purpose? I told you, decline in the productivity of business when he is not available. Maybe you need to recruit somebody, train, you need cost. So that will be coming from insurance company. Terms of the contract. Disability of the key person also uses own occupation definition, because that person, unless he's not able to come back and start doing his own duties, he is considered disabled. So the definition of contract is also what? Own occupation. Remember one thing, whenever there's a business disability or any kind of insurance to business, definition will always be own occupation majority of the time. Okay, unless the worker is a basic level worker, the basic level worker, and you can rotate him and put him to different duties every day. Now that's in any occupation because that person is not important to you. But if somebody is a key person, he definitely does important duties in your business that nobody else can do. Sounds good? So you have to have an own occupation disability. What kind of riders you can have? Same riders, you can have a return of premium, and you can have waiver of premium riders that you can choose. Not very important here. Maximum benefit that you can get is important, is 15,000 per month for a key person. You cannot go over $15,000 a month to replace your key person. So that's the maximum of the benefit. वो कह रहा है the addition of riders such as replacement expense rider may increase the standard payout. What is that replacement expense rider? So replacement expense rider means that while the person is not available, I'm going to hire a new person as a replacement and I will put some expenses to train them. So now I want 15,000 as a base, but extra topping as a rider to replace, hire and train the other person. So that way I'm able to get more benefit than over 15,000. Otherwise the base maximum is 15,000 a month, not a year, a month. Okay. So then I think that's pretty much it. Now, guys, I'm gonna start sharing with you my screen because over there I will show you two tables. And guess what? You also, I will refer you back that when you read book, table number, write down table number 5.1. You need to remember table number 5.1. This table says, wait, let me share my screen. Okay. Are you guys able to see my screen? Jaya, can you let me know? Are you able to see the screen? Okay, so this is table number 5.1. This is income tax implication of premiums paid and benefit received for business accident and sickness and disability. So there are different type of disability contract. Remember, we were discussing, you see on the type of coverage, you see those names, and then you see the characteristics, and then you see in that column. So you need to cram it for the exam reason and also for the practical reason, because this is important. You need to educate it. So first one is business overhead expenses, right? Everybody knows what business overhead expense, disability insurance is. So who owns the contract? Employer. Who is the owner? Employer, or your business is owner. Who pays the premium? Employer. Business pays the premium. Who receives the benefit? Employer or business. Beneficiary. So owner is the employer. Premium is paid from by the employer and benefits are also received by the employers. Clear? Now, fourth thing is premium tax deductible? What does it mean? That can you show the premiums as an expense in your corporation that year? Answer is yes. For BOE, you can show as an tax deductible expenses. See, there's yes over there. You can show that as an expense. Now, the fifth thing is the premiums reported of, okay, to life insured as taxable income. इसका कहने का मतलब क्या है कि अगर ये मेरी लाइफ के ऊपर आपने ये बिजनेस ओवरहेड एक्सपेंस ले रखा था, क्या मैं भी इसको टैक्स में काउंट करवा सकता हूं? तो आंसर इज नो, आई कैन नॉट डिस्काउंट इट इन माय टैक्सेस, राइट? नाउ द बेनिफिट, जो बेनिफिट रिसीव हो रहे हैं कॉर्पोरेशन को, एम्प्लॉयर को, क्या वो टैक्सेबल इनकम होंगे? यस. सी द सेम प्रिंसिपल फॉलोज. If you are reporting the premiums, guys, notice here, if you're reporting the premium as tax deductible expense, if answer to this is yes, then honestly, always answer to this will be also yes. this will also become taxable income. If you are showing it as an expense, you're discounting it as an expense, then the benefits paid to you also majority of the time become taxable. Sounds good? Are you guys with me over that? I'm talking about the disability business overhead expense insurance and their tax treatment. Raise your hand if you are with me and you understood this so that I can go further forward. All right. Next is business loan protection. Look, there's only different change in this one is loan protection insurance is here. Are premium tax deductible? No, you cannot show this one as tax deductible. You can show BOE as tax deductible, yes, but you cannot show this as tax deductibles, no. And once you are not showing it as an expense, then you don't have to pay tax on the benefits too. So it becomes no here as well. Sounds good? Now, if you go on to disability buyout insurance, in this one, can you show premium as an expense or tax deductible? Answer is no. And then if you're not showing it as an expense, then of course you're not paying taxes on the benefits. So it automatically become no. Same treatment. Only look at here. You are showing this expense over here as yes. Now the benefit become also taxable. Answer is yes. Okay. Whenever you say answer no to this, then this also become no. Sounds good? So after this, let's go on to this. Now this is crisscross, cross purchase agreement, crisscross. Same here. You cannot show premiums as an expense. You cannot show, it's no. And once you're not showing it as an expense, then you don't have to pay taxes. Is that taxable income now? Benefits? No. You don't have to pay taxes because you're not showing that as an expense. Same in the key person. The premium you're paying for the key person, can you show that as a tax deductible? No. When the answer is no, then the tax benefits are also tax free. That means you don't have to pay taxes on the benefits. Also no here. These are the two bottom plans. I did not go over this because these are not important, but just these three things, have a look at by yourself, see their names, read their names, and a little bit look into last three treatments because they are a little bit different in here. I'm not sure whether they're going to ask you any questions. These are not important, but just for your exam reason, have a look at this table. And it's important in that way. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So table number 5.1. Are you guys with me on that? And this also concludes this chapter for us. And I think we've covered everything in this chapter and in detail as well. Yeah. Tomorrow or maybe Monday, we're going to discuss chapter number 6 and 7, which is client profile. We're going to focus our attention towards how you make client profile, how you take client profile, how you take their goals and all those things. So we're going to shift our attention to the client file preparation and all those part as an advisor. But I think I'm just going to stop the recording. That concludes our chapter number 5. Businesses, and I'm pretty sure if you watch this video 2-3 times, you cannot make a mistake. Remember, I told you in the beginning, serving 10 families as an family and serving 2 corporation or as a business can give you same kind of money. That's how potential this chapter is for practicality point of view. So listen to this. Disability or accident and sickness module is a very important module, very important module, because this all deal with replacement of either income, saving your assets, saving your savings, and protecting your business. You know, who does not want all these 3 things? Everybody wants it, but people lack education. So this is a very important module. So as many times as you can watch my lectures back again over and over, this will help you, not just exam point of view, but also with your practice point of view as well. I would like to see you back on Monday for this theoretical part. I am going to